welcome to Talking Down the Highway, a Beach Boys podcast presented by Strange Currencies Music. I'm Matt.
I'm Glenn.
I'm alive.
What?
Yeah.
Tim!
Back from the dead.
Tim is alive!
Now, you know, this is not the first time that Tim has died, actually.
Really?
I had vaguely remembered that on the old show...
Yeah, I feel like we killed him a couple times.
Well, we recorded a podcast, just Glenn and I, in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Where we did a record store thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, record store crawl.
And Tim wasn't with us for that one because he had died. And apparently the story that we had was that he had been buried under a collapsed mountain of lawn gnomes.
Ooh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was the story.
I didn't listen to that episode.
That's canon.
Screw you!
By the way, so. Yeah.
Anyway,
So did you dig yourself out?
I'm alive now. Well, so I don't know if you guys saw, but my dad left a comment on the YouTube page explaining my absence. And so, I lied about being sick. I was actually hitchhiking to New Mexico, I believe. I forget, somewhere in the desert, because I had joined a cult.
Oh, okay.
But it turned out the cult wasn't what I thought. They kept talking about something like the return, where the return will happen in the future, and it turned out the return was the return of Mike Love's scalp.
Oh,
Because one day he put on a hat and never took it off.
it is saucer bait like shaped.
But so they're waiting for the day that, not to make a Beach Boys pun, when he finally reveals his glorious bald dome again.
Ooh, ever since Sunflower, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I realized that, and I was like, you know what? I thought it was a spaceship or something. I thought we'd be drinking Kool-Aid, so never mind. So I came back.
You're back.
Well, hold on. You're forgetting
Yes.
an important part. Then some really weird shit went down. Glenn and I got this cryptic note.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That, and this is embarrassing. Not that it happened to Tim, because it happens to people.
Right.
But it's embarrassing because it's such a trope. Folks, Tim got swallowed by a whale.
I did?
Yeah.
What?
Which is why we didn't record last week, because Glenn and I had to go find him.
He was belched up on some.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was a scam. Someone got you on
Did
the
somebody
wrong.
hack into
Did you
your-
pay anyone to help track me down in the belly of the whale?
We may have, yeah. Huh. We hired a PI.
Oh, man.
That's at least what he told us.
So we don't have any more podcast petty cash.
No more petty cash.
Oh, well.
We blew through all of that.
Also, someone hacked my Facebook account, so I think.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
That is going around.
Really?
I got hit about a year ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
They just posted a bunch of pro Mike Love propaganda.
I don't know, but I'm still pissed at you guys.
Why?
Dude, 2 a.m. in the morning.
Hold on, I have to turn your microphone volume down.
Wait, so
I sleep.
do you sleep with your
I
AirPods
sleep
in?
with my AirPods in because I fall asleep and I've got
You sleep
music
with
going.
your AirPods.
I do. I fall asleep, music goes, and then it turns off. But then at 2 a.m, Siri starts dictating text messages to me.
We had important stuff to talk about.
In my
this was,
fogginess,
this was pressing.
Yeah.
It was 5 or 6 texts before I came to my senses.
Your contract requires you to be on call 24/7.
Screw you both. Every single message Siri
think
read in
that
its extent in
is
my ears.
Important
It's
stuff.
hilarious, first of all.
Yeah.
Awful.
But it's because
Tim, go
here's
go
the
ahead
thing.
and tell us.
Shit's getting real. We got followed on Instagram by what you might call an actual beach boy.
Whoa.
Well, let's say I don't know anything about this guy. Maybe he's a cool guy.
Was Dennis in the
Beach
cult?
Boy in
Was
quotation
Dennis in
marks.
the?
Maybe
your
he's a
cult
cool
that you were-
guy.
Okay.
I have not looked into him. But he plays
Hey, hold on. He may be a cool guy, but he's not an actual Beach Boy.
okay.
Let's be honest.
So the way he describes himself is Beach Boys drummer. So okay, that's fair. His name's Bobby Figueroa.
Mr. Bobby Blue.
I mean, he's got a sweet gig, if nothing else.
Yeah. It's great.
I
Gets
requested
to go on the
follow.
Beach Boys cruise and hang out with the
That's right.
surfer jets in the cargo hold.
That's right. I requested to follow him back, and
Free
it
the
has
surfer
not
jets.
has not been approved. He may just be spying for Mike. We'll see. But Bobby, hi. Thanks for following. I hope you listen.
I love the fact that a guy who spends time with Mike Love on the regular follows an Instagram account that for every single post puts Mike Love eats dog food.
Hashtag
Hashtag
Mike Love
Mike-
eats dog food. Right.
We're just trying to
we need
vindicate
to know.
Brian Wilson.
First off, Mike, prove us wrong. Second,
Bobby.
can you find out what his brand of choice is? That is something we really need to know. I
here's-
want to send him a care package, and we want to make sure we
So
got the right
mean.
one. Is it Alpo?
So mean.
Kibbles and Bits?
So mean. He is a
Blue
Dodger
Buffalo?
fan. Bobby Figueroa is a Dodger fan, so
Well,
that's
so is
good.
Mike Love, which
Oh,
again,
okay.
Dodger fans are terrible.
I don't know if that's a
Terrible
good thing or
people.
bad thing. So
It's a bad thing.
okay, so that's all out of the way. I did want to spend a couple extra minutes, and I told Matt maybe this episode goes a couple minutes long because since I wasn't here, since I was dead for the previous 2 episodes, I just want to share some notes and some
Okay.
thoughts.
Yes, please.
Okay. So wait, I did write them down. First of all, I thought Remy did a great job.
Yes,
of course.
they did a wonderful job.
They were filling my role at times of having maybe a less popular opinion, but not backing down against the bullying from the
Wow.
other 2 guys. I don't remember what the topic was.
Wow.
But I remember Remy just being like, no, this is the, and you were like, no. And he's like, yeah, there's like, yeah. So
No. Good for Remy for standing up for
Yes.
themselves. However, I am not the bullying type.
you were both chiming in with, no, you're wrong.
All right, well.
So whatever it was, Remy did a great job.
Remy can stand up for themselves.
I also want to say, as far as the Beach Boys Live in London episode, I liked Matt's joke of calling it "Live in London," but I don't think it was a command. Like the Beach Boys say, "Live in London." I think it was just describing them. The Beach Boys live in London.
For that week or
Yeah,
whatever they
for
did.
a month or whatever. They live in London now,
Beach
just
Boys
for a
live
bit.
in London. That's the theme.
Yeah,
Okay.
apparently there was a rumor that they were going to move there, relocate there at some point, and they're always better received there. So we live in London. Also, I only listened to the live album once because I think one of the notes of mine that I don't think you read was that.
Can you get Spotify in a whale?
See, I don't remember the whale thing, so
Okay,
I may have just blacked that part out because of the trauma.
Sure.
But
Which that's understandable.
yeah. So one of the notes of mine that you didn't read, I appreciate you reading most of my notes. Is I think my overall comment on the live album was, who gives a shit or who cares? Something like that. Because while I agree with you guys that the instrumentation, the orchestration, and the performances were pretty good, like I said, I only listened to it once. I didn't really get a good sense of it because I didn't care. Hence the Wilson Phillips rating.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a little harsh.
And
I mean, the Darlin and God Only Knows performances alone make it worthwhile. But anyway,
I don't remember, but yes.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
And my final note going back to 2020 is that I am shocked that after a whole side of just dreck, crappy, forgettable stuff, and then another one at the beginning of side 2, the Who Gives a Shit cover, Cotton Fields,
That's bad.
that the first obvious occurrence of Brian Wilson's songwriting didn't smack everybody in the face like it did to me. That's why I put my note for I Went to Sleep as finally a good song. Because oh good, okay, all this shit I've been listening to, and then finally a song that sounds like it could have been on Friends. It's one of his little slice of life.
Yeah.
With it's got some clarinet. So yeah, you guys, if I had been here, I would have been roasting everybody for that.
I love that.
Come on,
I love
you
that.
couldn't even remember what it sounded like.
I love that for you. The mark of song that's worthy is a song that could have been on Friends. That's,
And then as we
you
know,
did give it a Brian.
As we know, I gave Friends a Brian, and then the follow-up song, I forget. Time to Get Away. I agree with Remy.
Time
there.
to Get Alone.
Alone. I agree with Remy there too. They were talking about how that was really. It's a really good production. It really feels like a Beach Boys song. That's another standout for me.
Yeah, it is. Other than the deep and wide, I don't love that, but
It's funny.
all right. Well, hey, let's take a break. This is a long intro. But
It is.
important business.
we got to
Yes.
celebrate the resurrection of Tim.
Just one real quick final thing. The last time I was in this room, we had about 92 followers on Instagram. We were up to 117.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
Snowballing.
maybe Mr. Bobby Blue is spreading the good news.
Maybe so. We'll see.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, we will be right back to talk about this week's topic. And we're back on Talking Down the Highway Beach Boys podcast. This week, we're talking about Sunflower.
Yeah.
1970 LP.
which many consider.
Well, don't get that far.
I mean,
which many consider a Beach Boys album.
a Beach Boys album.
They came out in 1970.
Yeah.
There's a lot of context for this one. I'm going to be completely, totally honest. I did not do very much homework over the last couple of weeks in preparing for this one. One, again, Tim rescuing was occupied a lot of time. Two, my house is in a state of mild disrepair and dysfunctionality, so I haven't had all of my records and my books. And sorry, I stole that from you.
You fucking stepped on my joke, you son of a bitch.
I haven't
in the edit. Bleep that.
Yeah, I haven't had my stuff really, and so I wanted to like listen to the Field Flows box set again and really kind of go through the demos and get into the listening to Landlocked, like those things and all that. But like, yeah, I have not had access to my stuff.
Didn't we do a full episode on the Field Flows box set?
We did on the old show, yeah.
On the old show,
and I was going to run that in the week that we were,
rescuing
absent
Tim.
last week, but it was a lot of just sort of covering of the same songs, really, that we're going to talk about here. So maybe I'll put that out as a special app someday, but I didn't want to do it before we talked about that this week. So
right, and I'm also a little bit light on the research because I've been moving. I moved one of those annoying moves where you just I just moved upstairs literally to a unit above mine, so that sucks.
So basically, everybody can turn this off.
Yeah.
This podcast off.
This is gonna be the worst episode.
It's going to be a lot of speculation.
A lot of reading from the wikis.
Right. Well, okay. So I did something. Let's just forget about everything Matt said a minute ago about research. Because I do use the wiki a lot, but I did get something. I went a little wild, and I went out and bought something that is, I think it's pronounced Book. See, it's the same joke he made, but I was going to say it, and then he stole it.
It would have been better.
We were talking about it and Hard Day's Night in that long break that we took, and I had the word book on my mind.
Heroes and Villains.
Just said it, so I'm sorry.
Heroes and Villains. Matt is the villain. So
I think I've used the word book though on a previous episode.
Anyway, it's a physical book. It's made of paper. That's what it sounds like. It's called Catch a Wave: The Rise, Fall, and Redemption of the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, by Peter Ames Carlin, Portland guy. And I didn't start at the beginning. I literally just started like where we were in the podcast. So I read through the 2020 stuff. This is where I found that anecdote about him wanting to rename the band The Beach, which you seem to assign some sort of like deep meaning to my request there, because at that point I was dead.
Well, we said it was effectively your parting words.
I guess so, yeah. But really, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Like he's got the whole form with his signature on it, like the beach, guys, the beach.
Let's do it.
And then sad, yeah. But then later in this book, right around the sunflower time, I don't remember the exact context. Carlin says something about like maybe Brian was right in wanting to change the name, because at this point, even the idea of the Beach Boys was embarrassing. This is when they were still struggling to fit into the whole, late 60s thing, I guess, yeah. But yeah, I do have some research from this.
And also, speaking of context, because that's typically what we do here, we're talking about context of Sunflower. This is not a great, social impact era for the Beach Boys. From there are references to concerts where maybe a couple hundred people show up to a Beach Boys show at this time. Is this residual from Charles Manson?
Maybe, yeah.
Because that's what's happening.
Right. Just a couple months before, they,
that's broken out. That's in the news.
And there was already talk, apparently, that we think, everyone thinks Manson did this, and then they all got arrested, and everyone kind of knew, well, the Beach Boys were kind of hanging out with that guy.
Yeah, there's some connection with Dennis Wilson, with the Wilsons, and trying to help out this guy, Charles Manson. Who is he? So, maybe there's some ostracization there socially.
I think they were trying to come out of that and come back strong. They had a couple different, according to this book, track orders and album names that they submitted. This is their first album for Reprise / Brother.
Right.
Which
so
I think
the stakes seem kind of high, because it's this is them now kind of away from Capitol. They're going to do their thing. After having been kind of ignored by several other record labels, they're trying to get
it
signed
took a while
by.
the only reason they got signed to Reprise, I think, was because of Van Dyke Parks, right?
Right,
he
who
was
vouched
like
for them.
Yeah, he was working there in some capacity, vouched for them. But then the stipulation was that every album has to include songwriting input from Brian Wilson.
Which snaps for Van Dyke for demanding that.
Right.
Because he recognized who the Beach Boys were and why this is significant.
Well, and he knew that's what the value, that's added value for the record label.
And that's important to note because at this time, isn't this like Brian's in bed time?
Yeah. Well, it's the start of that.
He's getting
that's
there, right?
more during Surf's Up, I think.
Yeah, and he's got his health food store right now at this point.
So
right?
he is.
I don't know if that's at this point.
I thought Radiant Radish
it's a little bit later. I think.
Was Surf's Up era.
Yeah. What was I going to say? But Reprise actually sent back the album a couple times saying no, and then they finally decided on what we hear, and they named it Sunflower. The first single, I think it was the first single, was Add Some Music to Your Day. And Reprise thought it was going to be this big hit, and the Beach Boys thought it was going to be this big hit, so they ordered a lot of pressings, but then it didn't sell. This album was their worst-selling album up to this point. I don't remember if it even charted, but it was worse than all the previous ones. Yeah. They were just on this descent.
Yeah, super sad trombone here. Yeah. They're like, ugh, nobody's showing up to see them. They're playing like weird, like community centers, like
I don't even
senior centers, and like it's not a great time. But we mentioned the Feel Flows box set. There's a lot of material that came out of this section, and maybe it's because they kept saying nope, not enough, not good enough, not poppy enough, not. And
that's the whole landlocked thing, right?
Right.
They had effectively created a running order for another album. It included some of these songs, but
Landlocked was the working title for Surf's Up. Was that not something different?
These were all kind of lumped together because Landlocked I think would have come out. I mean, before Sunflower was slated to.
Really? Okay.
Maybe
they just returned. I don't know. There's stuff in here about Jack Riley, and I think Desper, the engineer, he had put together a track listing of rejected songs from Surf's Up, but I don't know if that was Landlocked.
There's some like hardcore Beach Boy fans that are just like pulling their hair out right now. They're typing out the emails of like, how dare you?
Maybe they can send us Wikipedia screenshots.
Yeah, get the least you can do. Hey, all we're saying is we listened to Sunflower this week.
We did, yeah.
We listened to I listened to it a lot, and I was not disappointed.
We're at the start of a really good stretch.
We are.
A 4-album stretch. I've been listening to all 4 over and over and over the last couple of weeks. So it's good times right now, I think.
Yeah, musically this is great. It did not get received well when it came out at the time.
Critically, though, I think it got good reviews from what I have been reading, but not. It didn't translate to album sales.
Right, didn't translate to album sales.
Maybe not even reviews. Maybe just like contemporaries, like other musicians.
Well, and that's the thing. And we'll talk about this as we get into the tracks a little bit more. That there are some influential stuff here, and if you listen to each of these songs kind of on their own, there's a lot of great stuff. There's not really a clunker here. In the body of this, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go here.
Yeah.
But,
let's take a break then, and we'll come back and discuss side A of this record.
Yeah, side A.
All right.
And we're back to talk side A of Landlocked.
Sunflower.
Sunflower, sorry.
See, we got all this confusion here. So
dang it.
One thing, I mean, like Beach Boys history in this couple of years just is like very confusing.
Yeah.
It just feels like they're not making albums in the way that they had been before, where Brian has like this vision, right? And this is what it's going to be. they're just kind of, they're a more democratic group now. Everybody's kind of pitching in and contributing songs, and so they have a song that'll get rejected for one album, they'll try to bring it back for the next. So
there was
I think that's where my confusion came in with the whole Landlocked. Where does that fall in sequence?
Everything's kind of disjointed. There's some mention, I think it was during the Sunflower era, where they were kind of recording in factions. You know, like Al and Mike would go in, and then like Dennis and his guy would go in, and then, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, just a lot of crossed wires and stuff.
And then a lot of these albums that end up coming out as canon were like, you know, holdovers from the Smile era. So you had a bunch of, to speak to that point. So what ultimately gets released in 1970
Sunflower
is Sunflower.
I got it right here. Look, I'm looking at the cover.
What?
Yep. Hey, wait a minute. It sounds like it's time for an episode of Sound and Vision.
Yes.
Sound and Vision, where we discuss all things aesthetic using the scale provided to us by David Bowie. Glenn, if we really like something, we call it a
low.
That's right, David Bowie's masterpiece. Tim, if we don't like something, we call it a
Never Let Me Down.
In which David Bowie definitely let us down.
Fuck you, David.
Yeah,
Wait, no.
No. Anyway, and if there's a comfortable middle ground for like, that's fine.
Let's
dance.
Let's dance.
Okay, well, we got an image here, eh?
We do.
Yeah.
For all of you that are driving your cars, listening to this podcast,
pull over right now.
Pull over, Google it, pull up the, you know, whatever, Sunflower, the album cover.
Yeah.
Don't be driving while you do this because you might swerve.
I kind of love it, but
no,
I don't love it like a low. I'm just saying.
Hold on.
It looks like Al Jardine, the album.
Ooh,
Al Jardine, the album.
Yeah.
So
if
we've got
Al Jardine were an album.
We've got. I think this is the first time that all 6 of these guys appeared on the same album cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you know, they're probably all on Friends, but that's all. You know, I don't know.
They're all like
artwork,
it's a painting,
right? It's a photograph.
They were able to wrangle everyone together. Brian's here.
Brian is there. Yep.
Bunch of their kids.
Shout out to our episode of In the Wilderness.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit.
We talked about this on the Wilderness. Brian looks like
that's a written feature, by the way, which you can find on Strange Friends,
which you should check out if you haven't. It's a good time.
Yes.
Was that during the pandemics? We just started texting back and forth.
Slack chat
while we discussed these, and the observation was made that Brian looks like he's ready to play karate, do some karate.
The observation was also made of, I'm sure Dennis had several children that he could have brought to this session.
There are kids in here. What's up with that? Why are there kids on this album cover?
They're children.
Yeah, but why? Like, why?
I mean, they were having a picnic or something. Okay. I don't remember. I think it's in the wiki, actually explains it. But
it's a family get-together, and the Beach Boys are an American family.
Point is, look at Al. Look at Al.
Al is...
He's sassy.
Yeah.
He's in charge.
Hold on one second. Yeah, that's right. You can call me Al.
Let us know about your vest.
Yeah,
what's the story there,
What led to this getup? Because
and
you
the
are...
pose.
And do you still have it? Do you still have the vest, Al? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
The hat. He's got a hat. A vest. He looks like a sassy cowboy. He's got his hands on his hips.
He's like almost a gunslinger minus the gun, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming this is his kid.
It's like a wagon train leader. Oh, the
Who's
kid
who's mimicking him.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's heartwarming.
Yeah, and then some homeless Gilligan-looking guy snuck in next to him.
What the fuck?
Bruce is dressed exactly like Gilligan, except for the hat, which I figure is probably because it wouldn't fit on his giant head.
Yeah, they did not make hats that big back then. Yeah.
And
he tried to borrow Al's hat, and I was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think Al probably stole the hat that was on Bruce's head. That's what Al looks like there. He's like, "Give me that fucking hat."
He would have had to have run that thing through the wash several times on hot cycle to bring it down. If it at one point fit on Bruce's head.
Let's see. We got Mike Love is also on
trigger
white.
Trigger warning, Tim, in case you're having post-traumatic.
Right.
There's his saucer-shaped
His scalp is visible.
Wow.
It's hard to actually see him because of the reflection of the light off of it. His head is bare.
That is one bald man.
He's bearded.
So mean.
He has
so mean.
He has quote unquote long hair in the photo, meaning everything in the back.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of mullet-esque.
Skullet.
Skullet. It's a skullet. Yeah. Dennis. It's funny because if you saw this picture of Dennis, the way he's angled, it almost looks like a guy on his phone at a picnic. He's just like, oh, I'm just on Twitter.
Yep. So Dennis is tweeting.
Yeah. Carl's got a kid on his shoulders. Clean shaven, but with sideburns.
Good old Carl.
Looking good. What is Brian's child is wearing like a pink
onesie.
They look like a Care Bear.
Yeah, Care Bear onesie.
Mm-hmm. And then you got the nice banner on the top. And
Dumb
the name
banner,
of the album.
dumb font, dumb pointless frame around the photo. Never let me down. Final answer.
I'll give it a Let's Dance.
Yeah,
like
I'll go Let's Dance. I mean, it's entertaining.
I love it, but it's not a low, you know?
Yeah. It's entertaining.
I don't mind the logo and the banner and all that. Yeah. There's a lot. We just talked about it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's worth something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Divisive.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
dance.
All right.
Yeah, let's dance. All right, good episode.
Solid.
Let's start talking about this album.
Yeah,
Okay.
track one. We're
Slip
talking
on
about
through.
the A side.
It's called Slip On Through, written by Dennis. It's interesting. It's really weird rhythmically because it has that it sounds like a wood block with that same effect they used for the drums on Do It Again. Has kind of an echo to it. But in the beginning of the song, it's on the offbeat. But then when the chorus kicks in or whatever, when it picks up, it's on the on beat. But it doesn't change, so the song actually kind of shifts around it. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I've said this before, but he sounds like one of the Osmonds on the Osmonds, like 1972-73 period. He sounds like Merrill in a couple of the way when he says "love you," and then "by my side." Basically, sounds exactly like that.
All right.
I just did it perfectly.
That was excellent.
So
Osmond
clearly, the Osmonds took some cues from the Beach Boys. They're nice Mormon boys. They were probably singing along to the Salt Lake City song
Oh, yeah.
and all that. But
They're into it.
they stuck with them through this period.
Yeah.
Clearly,
I think it's great. First track.
Yeah, it is.
Solid.
Dennis's
contribution.
best written song to date, maybe.
yeah, and a great
I mean,
vocal.
I really like Little Bird, but there's always a little bit of question about how much did Brian have to do with that one.
Sure.
But yeah, this is a pretty good song.
This is, though, I'll say, stylistically, a weird, kind of a strange start. This might have contributed to the maybe lackluster sales. Is like this first track of a Beach Boys album just sounds like a completely different band. I mean, similar with Wild Honey, and that sold pretty well.
I was gonna say it's soulful, but in a way that's a little different than
Yeah, it
than they
starts
were
off
on Wild
slow.
Honey.
Like it almost has a disco feel at the very beginning. But yeah, it is solid.
Yeah, really good song. I like it.
Yeah.
Good job, Dennis. Way to start
Yay.
off the album. and that's a kind of big thing. Like it shows right off the bat the more democratic nature. It's opening with a Dennis song.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, track 2.
All right.
Yeah, this whole world.
I'm
really-
thinking about This Whole World.
It's a good song.
It's a really good song.
Yeah.
Brian.
Brian wrote it. Carl sings it. I love the production instrumentation. There's like tubular bells and stuff.
Marilyn sings backgrounds.
Oh,
on
really?
it. Yeah.
Nice.
And Diane, her sister.
I put the word "perfect" with a question mark. Like, it's not one of those immediate like, "Oh, perfect song." It's like this could be a perfect song.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a full effort contribution from Brian.
Absolutely.
He's not phoning anything into
No.
this. And yeah.
It's good stuff.
Excellent song. I really like where all the instruments cut out and they just have like sort of that a cappella moment towards the right at the end of it. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and that whole backstory is like I think he was feeling down, but he was thinking about literally the love of this whole world. And then there was a little bit of meditation stuff in there with the background chant. It starts with Om. It's like Om Dum Did It. Yeah, interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, and a great vocal lead by Carl.
Yeah.
As we've already heard a lot of those now. And interestingly enough, like for as democratic as this album is, Carl does not have a songwriting credit apparently on it, does he?
On the whole album?
I'm not at least on Rate Your Music. I'm not seeing him, and everybody else has at least some credits, but not Carl.
I will double check.
Yeah.
Well, Carl.
We found that
it's
Rate Your
about
Music
time.
isn't always.
It's about
always
time
accurate,
Carl
but-
had a hand in with Dennis and Al. That was kind of a group written one.
Okay.
Here we go. Bob Birchman. Okay, he has a co-writing credit on Our Sweet Love, and that's it.
All right. Well,
Okay. Track 3.
okay.
Add some music. Add some music to your day.
This hit single.
Yeah. It's there's a couple times over these next couple albums where I really don't like Bruce's voice, and this is like Mike and Bruce singing, and Carl and Brian are in there, and Al. But like, maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm hearing Mike. But the lead vocal of this bothers me a little bit. Plus, it's creepy. They're talking about like you hear it sneaking up behind you when you're at the store.
They played it in the dentist chair.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
fine.
You're sitting in the dentist chair. And
The lyrics are dumb. It's dumb. It is dumb.
Another plug for our wilderness article.
Mm-hmm.
We were making a lot of fun of this particular song because it's basically a fucking commercial for music.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's a quote. I don't. Tim and I were like riffing back and forth, but it's basically, "Hey, music listener, you know what you might like? Music. Yeah, you know?
Try it out.
Well, you're listening to music right now. It's so lame.
It is, but after
but it's
listening to the
Also,
album,
it's
it
a
fits.
Brian song,
Yeah,
and
and
so
it's
there is
catchy.
that
It is
sincerity to it, and the production is really nice.
It
and-
feels like a Beach Boys song, like production wise. I like it.
Yeah,
But
I don't hate it.
it's dumb.
It is silly.
The lyrics are
I think
dumb.
it's silly.
Yeah.
And actually, the next track, Got
okay.
to Know the Woman, track 4, my note is it's silly.
yeah. It's a total Dennis Duett song.
But it's fun. I don't know.
Not the worst.
Allegedly,
Dennis
that's-
doing
No,
it song.
No.
it's definitely not the worst Dennis Duett
It's
song.
better than All I Want to Do.
Right, absolutely. And
But it's still
allegedly,
kinda-
when he says "do the chicken," allegedly the laughter afterward is genuine. He it's so stupid. He cracked himself up.
It is so
Yeah.
So is that him not taking himself seriously?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
That's
good.
the thing.
Yeah.
You definitely have that vibe here.
So it's,
Yeah.
it's Dennis doing a parody of a Dennis Duett song.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Deirdre.
Deirdre, dumb.
Deirdre. So, but this is a Brian. This is a
Bruce. This is Bruce.
Well,
It's a,
Brian has a co-write.
it's a Bruce/Brian
Yeah.
collab, and my thought on it, as far as that goes, is it feels like a combination of their two styles because it's got a little bit of that Bruciness and a little bit of that Brianness. Because when you later hear some just pure Bruce stuff on this album and the next one, they have a very distinct sort of feel to them, and it's like taking that and then adding Brian's little, contribution to it. I do have a fun fact about this one, Matt. You'll like this. Let's see. EarthBound, right?
Oh, love it.
Nintendo
Yeah.
game. Great.
Super Nintendo, but yeah.
Super Nintendo. It's one of those JRPGs, but it's really funny. Apparently,
great. Such a great game.
Yeah, and they sampled the opening acapella for the soundtrack. It sounds like they put it into a keyboard. If you look up on YouTube, "The Cave of the Past,"
Okay.
you can hear what they did. It's like they composed a song, but just using samples from those two notes,
Okay.
and from that recording of Deirdre. So,
Nice.
weirdly enough, that song became a soundtrack piece of EarthBound.
Yeah, that soundtrack is great, and I've known for a long time that the composer of it really cited the Beach Boys and
nice.
Beatles as big influences on that soundtrack. Actually, last time we were up in Seattle, Remy got it on vinyl.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Which I should have got it too. It's going a little high on Discogs now, but yeah, it's first off, great video game, and yeah, this is a good song. I mean, it's, as you said, it's really Brian-y. The arrangement and those little flourishes instrumentally, and it to me sounds like it could have been a Friends song,
Yeah.
a little bit bigger than a Friends song in the sense that it's I don't know, Friends songs are all a minute and a half long and kind of minor. And this one's got a little bit more, I don't know, oomph behind it, if you will. But it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I don't feel bad about it. I don't know if I feel great about it, but it's it's good. What is the last one here? Is last one on side A is called "It's About Time."
Well, we didn't hear Glenn's thoughts on Deirdre.
I mean,
It sounded like he didn't.
I like it musically.
He
it
dismissed it.
just bothers me that it's Deirdre. It feels like they just picked that name because there are more things that rhyme with Deirdre than Deirdre. But
Well, wait, hold on. I need to do some confirmation.
But
of
apparently, it was the name of an actual
it was named
ex-girlfriend
after
of Bruce Johnson.
I thought it was Al.
No. You're clearly
Oh yeah, it's Johnston.
clearly uninformed,
Yeah.
clearly understudied, Timothy. Get back and read the Wikipedias. Yeah, no. But
You need to
whatever.
start taking those
It is what
YouTube
it is.
comments to heart. All right,
Seriously.
step up your game.
Well, so that's right. Deirdre was the sister of one of his ex-girlfriends, and it says possibly Deirdre Shaw, daughter of Angela Lansbury, and one-time peripheral member of the Manson family.
What?
Murder.
Angela
She Wrote?
Lansbury? Did Angela Lansbury crack the Manson case
There you go.
from Cabot Cove?
It is. It's all coming together.
It is.
Wow.
Wow, Angela Lansbury.
Cabot Cove. Wow, that is a deep reference. Like
Sorry.
You must have the box set, the DVD.
Yes, yeah.
My daughter has an Angela Lansbury fan sweatshirt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think socks too, maybe matching socks.
Wow.
That's great. All right, try. Oh, sorry. One of my professors at PSU was in an episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, really?
And he was also in a John Carpenter movie.
Oh, was he part of the Manson family?
I don't think so.
Well,
So,
it's
track
about
6.
time we get to the end of side A.
It's about time. Funny, it's hilarious that this is well, shit, hold on. Who co-wrote this? So this was like a Dennis, Carl, and Al thing with a guy named Bob Birchman, but this is the song where they literally say that they're singing from their heart.
Yeah. Sing from the heart.
So I don't know if this is a jab at Murray or what.
Sing from that.
It's actually a pretty good song. It gives me Jump Into the Fire vibes, like Harry Nilsson.
see that a
Especially,
little bit.
and there's like the bongo, and then there's that bass break on where they're just kind of doom, doom, doo, doom, boom, ba, doom, doom. Nilsson-esque.
It's just
Jump into the fire is so good.
It is.
It's just another reminder that Dennis is contributing. He can write a song. He can.
This is a rocker. It's
Yeah,
good.
he's got some vibing.
He's singing from the heart.
Singing from the heart. Yeah.
No, it is good, and it's so like uncharacteristically
Yeah.
Beach Boys too.
Although Carl sings it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's true. It's a rocker though. It's got a little bit of like a funk element. Again,
Yeah.
I think maybe the bongos are what really bring that in. It's a bit of a banger. It's underrated.
I like it. It's one of those that I don't remember it based on the title alone, but then when I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this one. Yeah. All right, that's side A.
Hey, let's be honest here. That's a pretty freaking
Yeah.
solid side of music.
Sure.
Other than some cheesiness in the lyrics, sure. But again, it's a Beach Boys album.
Yeah.
Like, you've always had that all the way back to Root Beer. And other than the sort of like Dennis Doing It song, this is a pretty good solid side of music.
It's fun.
Yeah, even the Dennis Doing It song doesn't bother me
It's not
that
terrible.
much.
It's not
Right.
terrible. Yeah, it's way better than the other Dennis Doing It songs.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, well, let's take a little break and come back and talk about side B.
We're back on Talking Down the Highway. We're talking about Sunflower by the Beach Boys. That's how I intro now from breaks.
Something.
So we're talking side 2, side B. I like to say numbers.
The flip side, as they say in the industry.
Yeah, that's right. I like to use numbers for full albums and then A and B for singles, personally. Anyway, first track is Tears in the Morning, and this is what I mentioned before as far as being a pure Bruce Johnston. Solid Bruce Johnston.
Yeah.
And
Solid
my thing is, like, he had Nearest Faraway Place, which is whatever. I forget what other ones he's written in just alone. But I like these, like, kind of cheesy ballady ones on here and Surf's Up. Like, when he is contributing vocals to other songs, I think he sounds kind of dorky, and just he enunciates too cleanly. But this one, I really like his vocal. I really like his vocal on Disney Girls on Surf's Up. And no one knows what the next album is. And here this one gets stuck in my head. I think it's a little schmaltzy, but I like it. I don't know.
It is schmaltzy. It's very. I mean, even the name. It's like a soap opera, basically. But it's good. Like, it has some really interesting instrumental flourishes to it. The vibraphone, and there's like a little accordion part in there. And stuff.
Yeah, it's a little on the nose when he's like, she moved to Europe, and then the concertina starts playing. And there's a couple of other the mandolin. It's like
I
a
want
little
to
schmaltzy.
I want to bring up something that Remy said during, I think, the 2020 episode. They said something about Bruce tries to write Beach Boys songs, but he really can't. Mm-hmm. And I think here at this point, he's learned to just write Bruce songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, this isn't a Beach Boys song. This is a me song. And apparently this one, I think it was this one. He would sometimes in concert play it just solo on a piano while the other guys took a break. So it's just like, here's Bruce.
Yeah,
Bruce, here's what y'all paid to see. Bruce on piano solo for 4 minutes.
Bruce has also said that these two, this and Deirdre, are Bruce's main contributions to this album.
Right.
And he's even said that this was he didn't think that they were great fits for this album. He thought this one was too poppy, a little bit too poppy. But for what it's worth, hey, if you're playing the drinking game at home, Brian Wilson has declared that this is one of his favorites. So take a sip if you're playing.
Brian as unreliable narrator is a very, very recurring theme.
Yeah. Usually he says
specifically
this is the best record we ever
calling
did.
this one of his favorites, and then calling the very next one at one point like boring.
Yeah.
Because here we go, folks. I've been waiting a while. Okay.
Track 2 of side 2, All I Want to Do.
Holy shit.
Oh, okay.
Well, here. So like when we did In the Wilderness, my reaction was this song is boring.
Yeah, because
I get it.
That was a dumb fucking take.
Hey, stop bullying him.
No. I will bully here.
Here's the thing. You can't deny.
Because you know what? This song right here. Hold on.
Blah, 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 blah.
Ooh. You're giving it a Brian.
That's the wrong song.
You're giving it a Brian Wilson. That's the Brian Wilson theme song. Perfection.
This fucking song.
Well, listen, though.
Perfect,
you can't deny that it stands out. It's like a sore thumb on the album. It doesn't fit into their style or the style of the album.
Wrong adjective.
It's out of nowhere. It's completely different. It's ahead of its time, I will say, and it's grown on me a lot. I do really like it. But just from completely out of context point of view, you're listening to this album, which has some rockers, it's got some Beach Boys stuff, and then this happens. You're like, what the hell is going on here?
This absolutely sublime thing happens, and it is so absurdly better than anything else on this record. Remy said it, I think in the 2020 episode, that this might be their favorite Beach Boys song, and I am not opposed to that take. This song is so fucking vibey and gorgeous.
And I would agree that maybe it transcends this album and just as an entity. Yeah, it's one of the better songs of theirs, but
I don't even think we said the title yet, but this is All I Want to Do.
Yeah, All I Want to Do.
Very, very different from the Dennis Doing It song on 2020, All I Want to Do, which is just hot garbage.
Right.
Do you think they intentionally were thinking of All I Want to Do when they titled this All I Want to Do?
So this song dates back to like the Friends era.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it, for all we know, it might actually even be the older of the two. I don't know. And Dennis was, inspired to write the Doing It anthem that is All I Want to Do, but
is it.
Yeah.
This might be apocryphal, but I think basically in the engineering room, someone just slipped and accidentally cranked the reverb channel like all the way up, and
the world is a better place for it. Yeah.
It's just like straight up, almost like an echo of the vocals.
So
I almost feel like this would have
vibey.
fit better on Smiley Smile. That kind of like chill out, kind of you're stoned or whatever.
Maybe, but Smiley Smile
it would have been
was
very
too stripped
anachronistic,
and
way
Smiley
out of
too
time
stripped
down.
down.
Yeah.
There's
if
too
you're
much going on.
If you're making a playlist, then you'd probably throw some of those on there. This on there. Yeah.
But All I Want to Do,
No, it's good.
Lots of like just reverb and synthy.
Yeah.
Like
I want more music that sounds like this, and I know people talk about it being like a predecessor to Dream Pop or Vaporwave or whatever you want to call it, chill wave. And when I hear any of that stuff that sounds like this, like I don't know. Yes, you can hear some production elements, but there is just something about the song that is so singular. I've never heard anything else that quite captures this vibe. it is so good that even Mike Love being front and center as a vocalist, it's like holy
Mike
shit.
Love's
like Mike
best-
fucking kills it
best-
on this song. That's how good it is.
Mike's best vocal performance?
I'd be inclined to agree with that. It's so good. It's
Big Sur
because it's
later
understated.
is-
Right, I was going to say,
and that's
it's
the
like,
thing. You never get that kind of just. I can't believe I'm just going to
almost
say
like he's
nice
talking.
things about him here.
Yeah.
But like, he understands that this song just needs to have a nuanced, understated thing, and he doesn't fuck it up. It's like,
Yeah.
It's great.
holy shit!
Is
Mike,
it the
like, good
reverb
job.
that helps him? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe.
sure, yeah. But the whole
Yeah.
thing has like a meditative kind of quality, so that sort
Yeah.
of makes sense coming from him. Yeah. No, and I mean it when I say it's ahead of its time, because of the influence it has on future types of music or whatever, future genres.
Pitchfork calls it proto shoegaze.
But yeah, it really does.
Maybe.
This, like, I mean, we're using the term anachronistic. That's what this is too,
Yeah.
because it's like out of time. It's from the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Glorious, glorious fucking song.
All right.
It's great.
Next track, Forever. It's called Forever. And
It's fine.
I finally
No,
listened
it's
to this.
not. It's
no,
wonderful.
well, listen.
It's Brian.
Yeah.
It's Dennis's.
Everything that comes after all
Stop.
I want to do, just whatever.
Okay, sure.
They basically just pretty much perfected music right there. So everything else is like whatever.
Agree to disagree.
I finally
That's
listened
not
to
fair
this
to
version.
Dennis. This
Yeah.
is an excellent song. Thank you, Dennis, for
I had
this contribution.
some difficulty.
Oh wait a minute! It sounds like it's not for an episode
Well-
of Heroes and Villains. All right, Heroes and Villains, where we discuss the heroes and the villains, whatever it is we happen to be talking about this week. And this week we are talking about Sunflower.
Sunflower.
Hero.
Well, this goes well with. I just want to sneak this in there. I had a hard time listening to this song the first few times without thinking about Full House.
Well, I know, but we were talking about Hero first off.
Dennis is the hero.
Whoa.
No.
Hero is whoever is ultimately putting the final stamp on the mix of All I Want to Do.
Whoever slipped on the reverb.
Yeah, whoever accidentally just, again,
Cranked the-
made a song that was 30 years ahead of its time
Is the hero?
is the hero of this album.
Well, no. The reason I bring up Full House is because the hero clearly is John Stamos.
Fuck you. I almost hit you.
I don't know what that was.
It was just a tiny little scrap of paper. But,
Well, I had
that
to
was a
step.
good throw.
I had to step on your joke since you stepped on mine.
I guess. But, I mean, all right, the villain here is
John
so
Stamos.
obviously
Yeah,
John Stamos. Because, yes, this is a really, really good Dennis song that, for at least my generation, which
Yeah.
is also your guys' generation, was just fucking ruined
It
before
was.
I ever heard this version of
Exactly.
it, because it was always and forever and always will be associated with fucking
Full
John
House
Stamos and Full House and
Uncle
Jesse and the
Jesse.
Rippers. And
And I
Why don't you just keep your baggage to yourself, Matt? Because I have not. I did not make that like.
you just weren't a Full House
crooked.
viewer, I guess.
Well, no, I watched Full House, but I didn't really associate the song. Maybe I missed that episode, or I was
it
gone.
was a whole like season long arc.
Yeah,
Basically.
I read up on it a little bit. It appeared in at least 3 episodes of the original Full House, and then again on Fuller House. I'm pretty sure one of the episodes of the original show was when the Beach Boys were on.
See, I must have had mono during that run.
Are we
because I
going to
missed
have
it.
to watch those episodes of Full House at some point?
Yes. Anyway,
Well, I love the song despite
Wait, should we-
maybe John Stamos's taint on this. Hey, maybe
Whoa, that was a little vivid.
Taint. Should we end this episode before we continue to talk about that song, since we're still on the track list?
Yeah,
except the true villain.
Great episode. Oh wait, yes, obviously the true villain is the person who pushed to get the Beach Boys on Full House in the first place.
Yeah.
Charles Manson. I mean, wait. Mike Love.
Mike Love.
Love, yeah.
He's sitting there spooning dog food into his mouth, and he's like, "You know what?
We should
We're
get on
really
that."
struggling
he's
with
doing?
the relevance here.
You know what he's
need to,
spooning? He's spooning John Stamos' taint. Anyway, let's go on.
Hey-o!
Oh God.
right.
Maybe that's why the Beach Boys drummer Bobby Figueroa is following us now, because maybe we have a mutual disdain for John
Yes.
Stamos.
Yeah,
who has tried
been the
to
drummer.
claim
That's
a
right.
drummer. Maybe
That's
we
right.
we like Bobby as the drummer.
Send us a DM, Bob.
Yeah, we need you can call me Bobby.
Yeah. All right. So
Is there a song called that?
good episode.
Paul Simon. Can you write that?
Right. All right. We're out of that.
Yeah. Okay. So what else we have to say about Forever?
I just wanted to say that I've finally listened to the Beach Boys version of it enough that it has now superseded the Full House version. And I do like it. I do recognize it as a good song. I think about Dennis singing it and not Stamos.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still always going to have that little bit of ruin for me, but
Sure,
it's
sure.
a nice song.
Well
Done, Dennis.
For those playing at home, if you're playing the drinking game, Brian has called this song the most harmonically beautiful thing I've ever heard. It's a rock and roll prayer.
Right.
So if you're playing the Brian's favorite drinking game with us, take a sip.
All right.
Another one of Brian's favorites. Forever.
All right.
All right.
Next one.
Our Sweet Love.
Sweet Love reminds me of a certain song that I had not heard before at that time. This is very cryptic. I don't know if we need to go into it, but a certain banjo melody
Yeah.
in a certain album that we recorded.
That had to have been like
Subconscious?
completely subconscious.
Really?
It does sound a
I
lot
thought it was.
like a
I thought it was
yeah.
fully intentional.
No. Like I have no problem like copying, the vibe or the
Right.
arrangement for something, but when it comes to like stealing a melody wholesale, I mean, when I was younger, I would do that shit, but.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, it was just like a total subconscious thing.
I don't even remember the name of that song, but we had like 3 different names for it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, Our Sweet Love, Brian, Carl, and Al wrote this, and Carl sings it. I think it's really good. And it's not like super memorable, but when I do hear it, I'm like, yeah, this is a good song.
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't know. Glenn hates it.
No, it's great.
All right.
It's fine.
Brian, I like that it apparently Brian never really finished it.
Oh, okay.
The Democratic era, and the guys kind of pieced it together.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay.
Again,
Next one.
there's not a clunker on this album.
No.
At My Window,
Oh, yeah. Next song is
The
At My
next
Window.
song is
This
kinda
song is dumb.
dumb.
But I wouldn't call it a clunker. I think this is one where I think Bruce's voice sounds really stupid. And then Brian comes in, apparently speaking French, but it sounds like he's pretending to be speaking Spanish. But I like the accordion. There's a nice little accordion line that sneaks in there. It's good. Whatever.
It's another one that I feel like it could be on Friends.
Yeah. Maybe with someone else singing the actual lead.
Yeah.
yeah.
Meh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there.
Whatever.
It's there.
It's there.
It's fine.
Cool Water is the last one.
Yeah.
It's from Love to Say Dada from the Smile Sessions.
It is.
I have a soft spot for anything connected to
Sure.
Smile. I appreciate this.
It's fine. It's kind of a chill way to end. But I can never really remember how the song ends. It's one of those that kind of like meanders and kind of shifts gears a couple times. But I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, I like the, I don't know, just the kind of weird randomness and everything. Yeah, that works
true.
well for them. It's
Weird, but not like
kind of back to some of that
inaccessibly
modular
weird.
element of
Yeah.
of the Smile Sessions again. So, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's a vibe piece, sort of. As a song, there's not a whole lot going on there, but
Right.
it's just got this different sort of feel. And, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, but there's like we've been saying, nothing really derails this album.
It's
consistent, listenable.
consistent. Great.
Yeah,
And it works really well, like at the end of the album. Like,
yeah. The song does. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
just as this little coda, if you will.
Yeah, it's a good closer. All right, we got to rate it.
We do.
I guess I haven't been here so long. I don't remember how the show works.
Well, we've got a pinned on our Instagram that you control, Tim.
I do. I control the vertical.
Well, if you're in your car listening, you should pull over
No, do not pull over.
and pull up the
Look away
Talkin'
from the
Beach
road.
Boys, Talkin' Beach Boys.
Look at your
on
phone.
Instagram
Crash your car.
to find
sorry.
the Oh, that was holdover from Tim's cult days.
Yeah. So this.
We
Talking
go all the way down to the
Beach
bottom.
Boys.
you
No,
know,
it's pinned at the top.
a Mike Love.
Yeah.
All the way up to a
right.
Brian at
Yeah.
the top.
Okay.
So you can think of it as being a 0.5 to a 5.0 system, or you can think of it as a 1 to 10. So 10. But yeah, you guys go first because I'm not really sure yet.
I am sure. It is many. I'd alluded to this earlier. Many consider this the best Beach Boys album. Next to Pet Sounds. On Apple Music, if you open up the Beach Boys artist page, essential albums, Sunflower is the first one listed. Yeah, I know. Well, you have to scroll over to see Sunflower, then Surf's Up, and then Pet Sounds. But but I can't give it a Brian Wilson, even though I would agree with you that All I Want to Do is a Brian Wilson single. And in thanks to Dennis Wilson's 3 solid contributions, I'm going to give it a Dennis Wilson. I'm giving it a 4.5. Dennis Wilson.
Solid Dennis, yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a 10. I was like, I feel it's better than a Carl, which is not that Carl is a bad ranking.
No, Carl's a very good ranking.
But it's definitely, I'll give it a Dennis. But at the same time, as much as I like it, I don't feel like, damn, I like that album. Like I'm gonna listen to that, for a week straight, even though I kind of did.
Yeah, and I don't know that I would call it one of my favorite Beach Boys albums.
But it's good. You just can't deny it. Yeah, right. That's true. Okay.
So, and there's no there's no clunkers on it. There's there's nothing really cringy, embarrassing. It's solid. Yeah, it's good.
It came in at number
Dennis.
5 on our catalog crawl that Remy and I did.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We gave it a 9.3, actually.
Nice.
That's a very, very solid Dennis.
Yeah.
A hot
Yeah,
Dennis.
I mean, it is a hot Dennis. A doing it Dennis.
All I want to do, Dennis.
Yeah, it's one of those records I wrote in the little synopsis in the catalog crawl that I've had this album for almost 20 years, and it just continues to get better and better. Like the more I hear it over the years, the more I like it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because I'm able
Continues to grow.
to sort of push off some of the elements that I'm sure I immediately found sort of off-putting at the beginning. Like I'm sure I got to like add some music to your day. I was like, give me a fucking break. Grown men, like come on. But now it's like, what? I can pick out the elements of that song that I really, really like. And
There's not really a cringy Mike Love moment in it. In fact, Mike Love's All I Want to Do is great.
Well, but I mean, look, he gets a writer's credit on it. Who knows how much he does?
No, his vocal.
How much?
His
I know,
vocal
but he
is
does. Elephant in the Room. He does get a
great.
writer's credit on that song, and
I think this is why Bruce Johnston I appreciate Bruce Johnston for his contributions on this album.
yeah, everybody's making good contributions to
great.
this. You got 3 really good Dennis songs and 1 kind of shitty Dennis song. You've got Carl. He's not really manning production per se at this point. He does that a little bit more as we move ahead, right?
But
He's taken a pretty big
finishing
role in a lot of that, right?
some of Brian's songs and coming together. I think, solid.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Dennis Wilson.
Yeah.
It's a Dennis. 4.5.
Very comfortable with that.
Solid.
All right. Well, hey, let's take one last quick break, and we'll come back to wrap it up. All right, we are back wrapping things up.
Now that you've pulled over from your listening, you can scroll through the rest of Talking Beach Boys.
Now that your car is in a ditch.
Yeah.
That's right. It's good. Click like, click subscribe.
Get us,
Smash
I guess,
that like button.
at this point, get us to 120 followers on Instagram. We're at 117.
Million?
A few more people.
120 million?
Of course, that's what I meant. Yeah,
Right.
million.
All right. Well, hey, we'll be back next week to talk about
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll catch you then.
Bye.
Later.